So this is elementary algebra, and this is me doing the very first test. So this is test number 1, and I'm just going to go over the questions on the test. Hopefully you can find some of your mistakes that you made along the way. So let's go ahead and make this bigger here. Alright, so if you remember PEMDAS, we are only going to do this in a certain order. So we're going to do the 5 minus 2 first, what's in the parentheses, and then we're going to square that. So we have 17 minus 4 times 3 plus 9. Then we do the multiplication, and then we go from left to right, and we get our 14. Number 2 is also, just like the first one, order of operations right there. So we cube that, and then we do our division. So we've got 19 plus 40 divided by 4 minus 27. Now we do our division. 19 plus 10 minus 27, so then we get 29 minus 27, giving us an answer of 2. And again, number 3, we do our parentheses or our exponents first. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 8. We have 3 negatives there, and when you multiply an odd number of negatives, you get a negative. 5 times 1, or 25, is 125. And then we have a minus 6 times negative 8 is negative 48. So that changes that to plus, which gives us our 173. So for number 4, we've got a lot of stuff happening here. A lot of parentheses here. So we're going to start at our innermost parenthesis there. And we get 9 plus 5, negative 3 times 4 minus 2 is 2, minus 7. Notice I didn't do anything else. Now I'm going to work on my multiplication here. Okay, and I'm still working in my parentheses. And multiplication, and that gives me my 49. Alright, so number 5, we do everything on the top first, then we do everything on the bottom, and then we cross the line and do the division. So we need to remember to do that. So 6 minus 2 is 4, minus 6 times negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5, over negative 10 plus 7. Alright, now we still have to simplify. We don't have just one number on the top and one number on the bottom yet. So 3 times 4 is 12. 6 times negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30 over negative 3. So that gives me 42 over negative 3, which gives me a negative 14. And number 6, I don't think many of you had much trouble with that. You just take that 440 and you divide. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do this. I usually try, if it's an even number, to divide it into 2 first, and then that gives me 110 and 2, and I'm circling my primes there. So it gives me 55 and 2, and then 11 and 5. So there are my product of primes. Alright, so for number 7, we have to find common denominators. We have to find a number that both 22 and 33 go into, and that number is 66. So what did I multiply 22 by to get 66? 3. So I have to multiply 3 times 7. Multiplied 33 times 2 to get 66 there, so I multiply 8 times 2. So I just add my numerators together, and I'm good. So for number 8, all we're doing is simplifying. So we're just adding what we can. So remember, one of the things about simplifying is taking the parentheses off. I can combine those, and that's it. And number 9, you're also simplifying. So all you're doing is multiplying the numbers together, and because the y is just kind of there, there's nothing to multiply it by, because you can only multiply like letters by like letters. If they're not like letters, or if they're numbers and letters, you just stick them together. That's all you can do. And that's your answer for 9. So for number 10, we're just using the distributive property. So we're multiplying 3 times negative 3x. And remember, if there's a letter and a number, you can't do anything with it. You just stick them together. Then we multiply the 3 times 4. And we're good there. All right, you come down to number 11. We're doing the same thing. We're simplifying. But z plus 5 you cannot add. So we know we're done there. So now we're just going to distribute that 4. So 7 plus 4 times z plus 4 times 5 minus 6. So now we're just going to combine our like terms here. And that's pretty much all we can do. So 7 plus 20 is 27. Minus 6 is 21. And the 4z we can't combine with the 21 because 4z has a letter in it. You can't combine letters with numbers. Alright, down to number 12. So for number 12, all we can do, since we can't combine what's in the parentheses, is distribute. And that's what I'm going to do here. So 7 times 2x, 7 times negative 5, negative 6 times 3, negative 6 times 8. That is a dumb symbol there. 48. So this and this gives me negative 4x. This and this gives me negative 83. Okay, so number 13 says find the value of this when you know that to be true. So like I say, I like writing all this out and putting the number that I'm substituting in parentheses. It will always do you better to do that because you've got those doggone negatives. Alright, so 3 times negative 4 times negative 4 minus, I guess I can multiply all three of those, right? 3 times 4 is 12, times 3 is 36, and since there's 1, 2, 3 of those, I'm going to get a negative. Plus 2 times negative 3 squared is positive 9. Negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 16 is 48, minus 36 plus 18. 48 minus 36 is 12 plus 18, which gives me 30. So for number 14, we're trying to find out what y is. Okay, so remember we try to get all the y's together and all of the other numbers together on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to move this over, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So 2y minus y is 1y, minus 1 equals y minus y is 0. Then I'm going to add 1 here, add 1 there, and that makes that go away. So I have y equals 0 plus 1 is 1. So number 15, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to distribute first since I can't do anything in the parentheses using PEMDAS, so I'm going to do my distribution first. So I'm going to get 8x minus 20 plus 2 equals 6. So 8x minus 18 equals 6 because I combined these two. I'm going to add 18 to both sides, and I get 8x equals 24 because those go away. Then I divide by 8, and I get x equals 24 over 8, or 3. So fortunately you can use a calculator, so number 16 makes it a little bit easier. You've got 0.45 plus 0.09 times 100 gives you 9. That times that is negative 0.09x equals 1.8. Now, I don't like dealing with decimals, so I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 100 because I went over 2 decimal places here and here. So that gives me 45 plus 900 minus 9x equals 1,880. So now I can just add those without my decimals. Alright, so let's see. If I take this and move it over, those go away, and I end up with negative 9x equals 765, negative 765, because when I do that, I'm going to get a negative because I'm taking basically 180 plus negative 945. Divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. Two negatives give me a positive. Those go away. 765 then divided by 9 is 85. And that's my answer for that. Now I'm going pretty fast with all these because I'm trying to get this done in a 15-minute video. And it's stuff that you should be able to hopefully be able to see your mistake fairly quickly. Alright, so we're going to distribute since I can't combine anything in the parenthesis. Okay, so I'm going to add like terms. This one and this one. 13 equals 9x plus 19. Bring my 9x over. 2x plus 13 equals 19. Subtract 13, subtract 13. 2x equals 6. X equals 3. So for number 18, what number is 60% of 94? Remember we did that? And we'll change the question mark to an x. And we cannot do anything with a percent sign, so remember we have to change it to a decimal. So 0.6 times 94 is what we're doing. And that's where our 56.4 comes from. Okay, 4 more to go. 680 is 34% of what number? Change that 34 to 0.34. Divide by 0.34. Divide by 0.34. And you're done. 420, you're solving for y. So we have that. We're going to subtract 4x from both sides, giving us 5y equals 20 minus 4x. Alright, so we're solving for y. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So y equals this, but remember we have to split them up. 20 over 5 changes to a 4. And we get y equals that. Okay, so for 21, Carol is 4 times the age of Pablo. So if Pablo is P and C is Carol. And what we've learned here is Carol's age is 4 times Pablo's age. So that's Carol's age, 4 times Pablo's. So if we want their ages to be the same, we're just going to use P for Pablo and 4P for Carol. Okay, rather than using two variables, because we know that Carol's age is 4 times Pablo's. So if this is equal to this, then we can use 4P for Carol instead of a C. So 9 years ago, how old was Pablo 9 years ago? Well, he's his age now minus 9, right? So how old was Carol 9 years ago? Her age now minus 9 years. That's 9 years ago. All right, so what does it want us to do? The sum of their ages 9 years ago. So Pablo's age 9 years ago plus Carol's age 9 years ago equals 32. Now because I'm running out of time, I'll let you figure out P given that problem. Okay, so there's our rectangle. Our length is 3 less than 4 times the width. The perimeter is 54. And there's the equation. Adding all of the sides together, the distance around gives you the perimeter. So you're just going to add this stuff together. Take the parentheses off. Okay. And then start combining like terms, and this one, and then solve for W. Alright, so if you watch this whole video and you email me that you did this, I'll give you some extra credit points on your test.